Welcome to another action-packed edition of NC Sports Weekly News. In the lineup, Taylor Canfield and Team US1 grabbed the 2013 Alpari Match Racing Tour World title with a little help from the Kiwis on Waka Racing. Back on the RC44 circuit for the final showdown in the Canary Islands. The epic battle in the Atlantic has a winner in Guadalupe. Francis Benoit-Marie chews up the last miles on Italian Giancarlo Pedote to take the lead and finally win the single-handed mini Transat. The Transat Jacques Vabre for Cruise of Two closed its final stage with the Class 40 arrivals. The winners, the upsets, and the final report with NC Sports senior correspondent Sébastien Destremaux. And the ISAF Rolex Sailor of the Year awards go to Australia and New Zealand as the 470 class takes all. KITEBOARDING of Australia and Hawaiian Muna White have reconfirmed their world titles on the KSP Tour season finale at the Caipirinha Kitesurf Pro 2013. NC Sports, plunge into the action.
It's unbelievable, it's here it is, and it's unfortunate that we had to rely on Phil Robertson to win it for us, but hey, that's how the tour works, and we're just happy to have won it.
With a decisive third place at the last Monsoon Cup event in Malaysia, and thanks to a 5-point overall lead on Britain's title defender Ian Williams of GAC Pindar, Taylor Canfield and Team US1 are the new Alpari World Match Racing Tour champions.
Robertson, beat us fair and square. He sailed a great regatta, and he deserves to be the Monsoon Cup champion. So, and again, we were rooting pretty hard for him up in the spectator lounge, and he sailed an unbelievable event, and he proved it against Williams in the finals. The whole team just pushed so hard all year, and going to keep coming hard. We have a really relaxed mentality, and I think we have a good future coming up on the tour.
Frustrating light winds early on in the event turned the races into a highly tactical affair here in Kuala Terengganu. And as conditions improved for the closing stages, US1 got plenty of help from the Kiwis on Waka Racing. First defeating the Americans in the semis 3-1, and then by forcing 2 penalties and outsailing Williams in a 3-0 final, Robertson clinched the Monsoon Cup and dashed all hopes for the British powerhouse. Bringing together America's Cup, Olympic and world-class champions in the discipline, this is the prime circuit for top-ranked sailors. The Alpari World Match Race Tour 2013 was decided over 6 events throughout the globe: Germany, Korea, Sweden, USA, Bermuda, and finally here in Malaysia. According to America's Cup 32 winner Ed Baird, this Lanzarote stopover was one of the most challenging venues for this year's RC44 circuit. These Calero Marina's RC44 World Championships offered different wind conditions at each and every race. 15 teams took part in the season's fleet racing final, valid for both the world title and the overall season series leadership. Thanks to very consistent sailing with 2 wins and 2 more third places in fleet racing, Slovenia's team CRF, with another America's Cup veteran Michele Ivaldi on tactics, were crowned world champions, followed by both British squads, Peninsula Petroleum and Team Aqua, respectively in 2nd and 3rd positions. With this final podium, Chris Bake's Aqua Team's domination for the season was once again reconfirmed for the third year in a row, with the Synergy team finishing in second and another Russian unit, Katyusha, in third. The full report with racing action, highlights, and all the comments on the upcoming edition of the NC Sports Buzz. In what will surely be remembered as one of the most captivating editions of the Mini Transat, solo skipper Benoit Marie was the first over the finish line last Sunday evening in Pointe-aux-Pitres. Following a 3,500 nautical mile match race westward across the Atlantic against Italian revelation Giancarlo Pedote, leader for most of the regatta, the relentless Frenchman managed to put his bow ahead in the very last approach to the Caribbean island of Guadalupe, to finish with a 2-hour advantage. Not bad after more than 18 days at sea.
Vu comment j'ai mené ma barque depuis les trois derniers jours là, c'était chaud, hein. J'ai vraiment bombardé quoi.
Damage to the boom on board Pedote's Prismian did lower speeds considerably for the tenacious Italian on the final stretch, ultimately precluding victory. While a winner and a loser had to be decided, Giancarlo and Benoit had an amazing race, building together more than a day's advantage on the closest pursuers, and proving they are two outstanding sailors. With this feat and Italy's best ever placement at a mini transat, the Azzurro has now rekindled the national passion for offshore sailing. Giancarlo Pedote is also a member of Nautical Channel's team of marine producers and host of the original television series CU, now airing on this network in 42 countries and in 5 languages. The newsroom and the entire staff congratulate Giancarlo for this momentous accomplishment and wish to thank the entire Prismian team for having us on board. Stay tuned to NC Sports for the full day-by-day recap of this historic edition of the Mini Transat.
Welcome to the office for Transat Jacques Vabre's final report. With 3 French, 2 Spanish and a German sharing the podium, the Class 40 is without a doubt the most international class of ocean racing. Sailing the Mach 40 design, the French duo on board GDF Suez have been comfortable leaders for almost the entire race. They only came under pressure when they did blow up 2 key spinnakers in quick succession in the doldrums. Sébastien Rogues and Fabien Delahaye sailed across the finish line as the Transat Jacques Vabre's winners.
À des moments, on a eu des petits moments de doute quand on a perdu les speeds.
We did have some doubts at times, especially when we lost our spinnakers, but we quickly recovered and went back into conquering phase. I believe our association with Fabien was correct. Our trio with this boat was ideal.
Avec ce bateau était la meilleure.
Following a shock on the starboard rudder, the Spaniards Alex Pela and Pablo Santurdi are forced to make a pit stop in La Coruña. The duo then began a fantastic comeback to eventually secure the second position of the Transat Jacques Vabre.
Première course pour moi sur le bateau.
First race for me and second for Pablo on the new boat. Yes, it was a great race. Between the Canaries and here, we were really comfortable with the boat and began to push her really hard. That's why we arrived second here.
Very consistent on the water, German skipper Jörg Ridges and Pierre Brasseur did not let go of the provisional podium throughout the race. On board the winner's sister ship, they managed a beautiful third position.
This route is just a great speed run. To get to here, we could push hard.
Following the arrival of the first 3 Class 40s, the final podium of the 11 Transat Jacques Vabre is now known. The award ceremony took place Saturday last at the race village in Itajaí, Brazil.
Rendezvous next week on NC Sport. Until then, goodbye and fair sailing.
ISAF, the International Sailing Federations Association and governing body for all disciplines, has recently conferred its prestigious Rolex Sailor of the Year awards in Muscat, Oman. In a difficult selection process with plenty of well-deserving candidates, current Australian 470 Olympic and world champion Matthew Belcher took top honors. The Aussie faced some serious contenders, the likes of Vendée Globe winner François Gabart, kiteboarding champion Johnny Heineken, speed record setter Paul Larson, and 2012 Match Racing Tour winner Ian Williams. Also world and Olympic champions in the 470s, Joe Alley and Olivia Powery of New Zealand topped the votes of ISAF member national authorities, underlining the fundamental role of this class on the overall sailing panorama. Joe and Olivia preceded some very strong sailors as well, such as three-time FAR 30 world champion Deneen DeMorcas of the USA, Erica Heineken, kiteboarding course racing world champion in 2012, and the Omani Raya Al-Habsi, the first Omani woman to sail in the Rolex Fastnet race. In a tight contest, defending KSP champions, KITEBOARDING of Australia and Hawaiian Muna White successfully retained their titles on the surf of Hukipa Beach. 34 top-ranked men and women wave riders from over 14 nations met in Maui for the Caipirinha Kite Surf Pro 2013, the World Championships for the discipline. Blasting trade winds and overhead surf offered superb conditions for the 5-day event. The Aboitis survived the hard-fought semifinals against Italian Ayrton Cozzolino to face and defeat local star Kai Lenny, winner of his semi over Sebastian Ribeiro of Brazil.
Yeah, really stoked to take the title again. This is the second year I've been here and couldn't be happier. We ended up having some really fun waves, not quite as big as we expected, but still really fun surf and had a great time out there.
Well, you know, since I won 2 world titles in stand-up paddling this year, you know, I was just on this wanting to win more world titles for sure, and you know, I got second, so I would say, you know, winning 2 world titles to 1, that's probably better than, you know, 1 to 2. So, you know, wish I could have won that world title for kiting, but, you know, getting second in the world is, you know, that's pretty awesome, and I cannot complain one bit.
More epic surf kept up the action for the women's final and the highly anticipated rematch between White and Jalou Langere of Holland. Both riders showed off power and style. Yet in the end, Muna had the upper hand here at Hukipa and claimed the 2013 World Championship title.
Yeah, this whole year I've definitely been thinking about this event. Just being at home on Oahu was good training for this because the conditions are similar. One of the spots I ride is actually pretty close to this, like offshore, and just kind of like this last heat where the waves were a little bigger. So yeah, I've been training in conditions like that, which are perfect for this.
Plunge into the action with NC Sports.